tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Shabbat Shalom, Shalom Park, friends, neighbors, relatives, guests. How good it is that sisters and brothers, that all people dwell together on this Shabbat. How nice it would be for people to dwell together in peace all of the time. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose and meaning. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we live in such a way that this Shabbat fulfills its promise to us. Come, let us sing joyously unto God a new song, Shir Chadash, a new song, and let us raise a shout for God on all of the earth. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai Shir Chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. The earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai Shir Chadash. I will sing unto God a new song. Page 4. Yismachu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz, Yiram hayam umlo'o. Let the heavens rejoice and the earth be glad. Let the seas roar and all within it thunder. Adonai malach tagel haaretz yismachu iyim rabim. Anan va'arafel sevivav tzedek umishpat machon kis'o. Light is sown for the righteous, and joy for the upright in heart. Exult in Adonai, O you righteous, and give thanks to God's holy name. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lahar kodsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. On page 6, we welcome in the Sabbath bride with Lecha Dodi. Ya la 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 Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat v'Kabbalah. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat v'Kabbalah. La 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 shamor v'zachor b'dibur chad. Ishmiyanu aham yuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo tiferet v'liti la 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 Kadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat v'Kabbalah. L'chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat v'Kabbalah. La 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 likrat Shabbat Lechu v'necha, ki makor habaracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'asa b'makshava tehira la 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 chadodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabbalah l'chadodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabbalah la 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 la. We rise as we are able, physically or spiritually, to greet the bride. Bo'i v'shalom, ated bala, gam v'simcha to'chala, toch emunei am segula. Bo'i chala, la 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 chadodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabbalah l'chadodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat, p'nei Shabbat, p'nei Shabbat nikabbalah la 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 la. Please be seated if you did stand up. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. It's good to give thanks to Adonai, to sing your praises, to proclaim your love every morning and your faithfulness every night. To the sound of the 10-string lyre with music of lute and harp, your works, Adonai, bring me gladness. Of your deeds I joyously sing. I sang too, but we're gonna sing now. Tov lehodot l'Adonai u'lizameh l'shimcha elyon, l'hagid b'boker chasdecha ve'emunatecha b'leilot. Yalla la la, yalla la la, yalla la la, yalla la, yalla la la, yalla la la, yalla la la, yalla la, yalla la la, yalla la la, yalla la la, yalla la, yalla la la, yalla la la, yalla la la, yalla la la. The end of the psalm. The righteous shall flourish like the palm trees, and they shall thrive like the cedars of Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they shall flourish in the courts of our God. In their old age, they shall still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, our rock, in whom there is no wrong. Back to page 11, Sadiq Katamar. Sadiq Katamar yifrach yifrach, Sadiq Katamar yifrach. Sadiq Katamar yifrach yifrach, Sadiq Katamar yifrach. Ke'erez belvanon yiske, ke'erez belvanon yiske, ke'erez belvanon yiske yiske. Ke'erez belvanon yiske, ke'erez belvanon yiske, ke'erez belvanon yiske yiske. The Baruch Hu in the middle of page 13. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Page 14. Hama'avir yom u'mevi laila, hamavdil bein yom u'vein laila. Adonai tzva'ot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We receive God's love, ahavat olam, love of the world. Page 15. We'll then recite the Shema and return that love, the ahavta, and you shall love Adonai your God. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Akein Adonai Eloheinu B'shofenu u'kumeinu Nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu v'orach yameinu U'vahem negeh yomam v'layla Ve'ahavatcha tasir mimenu l'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol ma'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lachtecha v'derech u'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'od al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezzobeitecha uvish arecha. In the middle of 19. You shall make for yourself tzitzit on the corner of your garments throughout the ages. The tzitzit are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem emet. And as we well know from this past week's of observance of Pesach, God led us from Egypt to the Sea of Reeds, and then we crossed over. And when we crossed over, on the other side, We sang joyously, who can compare to you, Adonai, whose holiness is as glorious as yours, praised as awesome and doing wonders. Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, no ra tehilot, o sefele, no ra tehilot, o sefele, malchutecha ra'u v'necha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, ze Eli anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, no ra tehilot, o sefele, no ra tehilot, o sefele, v'nema kivod Adonai et Yaakov, u'go'alo mi'ad hazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai ga'al Yisrael, mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, no ra tehilot, o sefele, no ra tehilot, o sefele. Help us, God, to lie down in peace and raise us up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace and guide us with your good counsel. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu l'shalom. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu l'shalom. Ushmor tzedkenu, uvoenu l'chaim u'l'shalom. Ushmor tzedkenu, uvoenu l'chaim u'l'shalom. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu l'shalom. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu l'shalom. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu l'shalom. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu l'shalom. Page 25. Our God, and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai, our God, grant us your holy Shabbat as a heritage. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. As we are able, we rise for the Hatzi Kaddish, to be followed by the Amidah, our conversation with God. So physically, spiritually, rise as you are able. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shamei rabba ba'alma divara chirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayedocho bet Yisrael Bagala, Agala Uvizman Kariv Limaru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabba Mevorach La'olam Lo Me'almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitroma V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yit'aleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha Barichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Da'amiran Belma V'maru Amen. Yalla la 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 Adonai. Yalla la 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 Svatai Tiftach. Yalla la 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 Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Ve'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot Umevi Goel Livnei V'Nechem L'ma'an Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ufoked Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye Metim Atarav L'Hoshia Morid Hatal Mechakel Chaim B'Chesed Mechaye Metim B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot Umido Mehalach Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'emanata L'chachayot Metim Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh HaMetim. You are faithful, giving life to all that live. Praise to you, Adonai, who gives life to all that lived. Praise to you, Adonai, holy God. Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Vayechulu hashamayim v'ha'aretz v'chol tzva'am vayechol Elohim b'yom hashvi'i melachto asher asa v'yishbot b'yom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa v'yivarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i v'kadesh oto kivo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim la'asot. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ritzei v'mnuchateinu kadshenu v'mitzvotecha v'tein chelkeinu v'toratecha sabeinu mituvecha v'samchenu b'yeshuatecha v'tahel libeinu, v'tahel libeinu, L'avdecha be'emet, v'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu, v'havav ratzon Shabbat kadshecha, v'yanuhu v'Yisrael, mikadeshei shemecha, baruch atah Adonai, mikadesh HaShabbat. Page 35. When we are overwhelmed by life circumstances, shield us from defeat with your words of promise. And when we are troubled by turbulence in our lives, shield us from chaos and confusion with your reassuring words of Sabbath peace. Shalom Rabbi Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rabbi Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech amo Yisrael b'shalom. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses God's people with everlasting peace. We take a moment for silent prayer or meditation. Thoughts from your heart, thoughts from your soul. Ose shalom b'mroma, Yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. V'ima'u, amen. So this week's Torah Parsha is called Shmini, the eighth. So the eighth has special meaning to us because it takes us out of what's physical, the physical realm, and up into the heavens. The sixth is the physical here on earth. The seventh is the center of that, the holy and the spiritual, and the eighth is the heavens realm. And this parsha talks a lot about sacrifices and priestly obligations. It also talks about a few other things, kashrut, which also is a little heavenly for many, but even though we do it physically, right? But it has this extra layer to it. And that extra layer tells us that when we read the words of the sacrifices, that there's something else we should find, something beyond just the words. and just even the doing of the ancient sacrifices that were done, that there's something else there that it represents, that we have to peel off those layers and find. And today's story is called The Wisdom Bird, a tale of Solomon and Sheba, and this is retold by Sheldon Oberman. King Solomon could answer any question. He could solve any problem. Even the birds talked about his wisdom. They flew all the way to Africa, telling everyone, King Solomon is the wisest man in the world. They even told the Queen of Sheba, who was also very wise. Some say she was the wisest woman in the world. When the queen heard about King Solomon, she said, I want to meet this clever man. She called together her servants, her warriors, and her nobles. She told them, we are going to Jerusalem. They sailed by ship across the Red Sea. Then they traveled by camel caravan through the Negev desert. Finally, they reached the high gates of Jerusalem. Her servants sang and drummed. Her warriors danced and shook their spears. Her nobles brought forward gifts of gold and silver, spices and incense, and the many wonderful creatures of Africa. Yet the gates stayed shut. Finally, the queen called out, I am the Queen of Sheba. I've come to meet King Solomon. For a moment, everything was still and silent. Then from inside the city, 100 trumpets blew. The high gates of Jerusalem opened wide, and out came Solomon. Great queen, he said, you've traveled so far and you've brought me so much. What can I give you in return? Teach me something important, she replied, something worth the gifts and my time and trouble. King Solomon invited her to sit beside his throne. She watched as he solved every problem. She listened as he read to her from his book, the Song of Songs. She asked him many questions. He answered each one. Now, said Solomon, have I taught you something worth your gifts, all your time and your trouble? She shook her head. No, she said, you have great knowledge, but show me what you can do with it. Name anything, said Solomon. If it can be done, I promise that I will do it. Build a palace out of birds' beaks, she said. Everyone was shocked. That would take all the beaks of the birds in the world. I have promised, said Solomon, so I must do it. He led her to the top of the highest tower of the city. He called out to the birds of the north and the south and the east and the west, come to Jerusalem. Give up your beaks to me. Hour after hour, the sky grew darker and darker with beating wings. It grew louder and louder with chirps and caws, hoots and trills, until all the birds of the world had arrived, except for one, the hoopoe. A small, colorful bird with a long, thin beak. It has disobeyed me, said Solomon. And he called to the eagles and the owls, the falcons and the hawks. Search for me this bird, find the hoopie, bring the hoopie here. They reached and found the bird and quickly brought it back. The little bird begged Solomon, please, do not punish me. I was on my way, but I stopped to find you a gift. I have found three things you do not know. King Solomon knows everything, the other birds called out. How can a bird know more than the wisest king? Little bird, said Solomon. "If you can teach me one thing I do not know, I will set you free." So the bird asked Solomon 3 questions. Here is my first. What was made the longest time ago and meant to last the longest time from now? Solomon answered easily. It is the world and all its creatures. You birds were made at the beginning of time and meant to last until the end of time. He asked the bird, "Am I right?" They all agreed. The geese, the ducks, the swans, the pelicans, the cormorants, the cranes. Oh yes, they said. And Solomon thought, the birds are meant to last forever, but I will change them. Here is my second question. What is so gentle it is used to feed a baby, yet so strong it is used to break through wood and earth, to build a home and fight off enemies? And Solomon answered easily, a bird's beak. Birds use their beaks to gently feed their young, yet they also use their beaks to dig through earth and trees for food, to build their nests, to protect their families. And Solomon asked the bird, "Am I right?" And the birds all agreed. The parrots, the woodpeckers, the crows, the kingfishers, the hummingbirds, and the jays. Oh yes. And Solomon thought, their beaks are so important. What will they do without them? Here is my third question. What drop of water does not rise from the ground nor fall from the sky? And again, Solomon knew the answer. A tear. It rises from the unhappy heart. It falls from a sad eye. And he asked the birds again, am I right? And again they all agreed. The mourning doves, the meadowlarks, the nightingales, the chickadees, the peacocks, the parakeets. Oh yes, they said. And their tears began to flow. And Solomon thought, the birds are crying because I am going to take away their beaks. He felt so sad for them that a tear came to his own eye. Great king, said the bird, you've answered all my questions. I have failed. King Solomon lifted the bird onto his finger. Little bird, you did not fail. I knew the answers, but I did not understand their meaning until now. And Solomon called to all the birds. Now I understand that you are important, and your beaks are important, and your tears are important. I will not hurt you or any creature just to show my power. I will not punish this bird of wisdom, and I will not take your beaks.